I'm Mark.
And I'm Terry.
And we're Escaping the Empty Nest. New England certainly has a certain mystique to it. No pun intended, mystic. It's gorgeous up here. I can see why people love it. The natural beauty of the area, the history, driving through these little towns where it looks like if you had passed through the same stretch of land 100 years ago, it wouldn't look exactly the same. Yeah. Sense of heritage and history. Driving through the countryside here and windy roads, and it's amazing. Something we certainly don't get in Texas at all. In terms of scenery or heritage. Of course, you don't have a whole lot of choices around here as far as avoiding the interstates, because there's just not that many of them over here. At least I haven't seen very many of them. Of course, around Boston there are, but driving east-west through Vermont, New Hampshire, not many options. But that's okay. We haven't minded the slower pace at all. I don't think anybody comes up here to do leaf peeping to be in a hurry. And if you do, you're doing it wrong. How many times today have we pulled over just because we saw something that we didn't want to blow by at 45 miles an hour?
Exactly. I mean, you see cute little town squares and oh, look, there's that bright red tree. Get that in a picture.
Yeah.
And there's just so many things that we've seen that are just like, this looks like it would have hundreds of years ago. You were right. And so everything in Texas is so new and so modern, and Dallas, and I don't think you would find anything. Yeah. I can't think of anywhere in Texas that you would find something that looks as quaint and as historic as that people are using these cute little buildings for their shops and for their, you find a gas station with a really nice farmer's market attached to it. And
that was cool.
That was, that was amazing to find that.
Yeah. It's definitely a different culture up here. It's a different world. It's a different way of life. Of course, like I told Mark Walters earlier in the week, it's easy to love New England in October. The easiest thing in the world.
December, not so much, I'm sure.
Yeah, December, January, not so much.
Growing up in Pennsylvania and remembering, as a kid, I should say, everything was as a kid. My memories of being in Pennsylvania, but my dad, that's one of the biggest reasons he moved us from the north, from Pennsylvania down to Texas, was not only because he was the last of his family still there in Pennsylvania, but because he was tired of shoveling snow in the driveway every winter.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a big...
It's a gorge.
That's a gorge.
It's a gorge.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, Quechee Gorge. There's a name for it. Visitor Center.
Quechee Gorge Visitor Center. Did we pass it already?
Well, maybe I might be able to pull it here. This is exit on that. I can make a U-turn. See, this is what we're talking about. You just find little things, and you go, ooh, and then you find a parking lot to turn around in.
Turn right onto US 40.
And our GPS is barking at us right now because it thinks we're going the wrong way, but we know we're not, because we're heading back to the Gorge Visitor Center to get some shots. Because that's what you do when you're leaf peeping, is you do not get in a hurry. So that was exactly what we were talking about. Definitely worth the stop. Got some amazing pictures. We obviously weren't the it's obviously a well-known stop along the route because there was a tour bus there that stopped and It's obviously something.
Tour buses across the street at the
Yeah, so
Look, there's the moose.
Yeah, we're seeing signs. Watch for moose. It's like, okay. That was pretty cool. Just
one of those things you just happen on. You know, it's
Yeah.
not anything that was planned. We just happened to see as we're crossing that bridge. I was like, oh wait, what's that? It was beautiful. Glad we stopped.
when I planned this trip back in February, you know, you look at all the fall leaf foliage calendars, and it basically said the second week of October, around Columbus Day, which is today, by the way, for those watching in the future, which is everybody. The second weekend of October would basically be peak season for Vermont, New Hampshire, and not quite so much for the Boston area. Well, that's a forecast. It's not written in stone by any means. And apparently in New England, it was a warmer than usual fall, late summer fall. So the leaves did not change colors as early. So I don't think we're quite in peak season yet. I don't think we're quite in peak season. Probably another week, but you don't know. And how early you have to make reservations precludes anybody chasing these seasons. Not just airline, but hotels. A couple days ago, we thought, well, the further north you go, the better the colors are. So we thought about, instead of going from Ticonderoga and down to Rutland, going north.
Welcome to New Hampshire.
Welcome to New Hampshire.
So I was checking hotels north of Ticonderoga to cut across, and I think there's the Green Mountain Forest or something like that. We thought that would be good. And at least the hotels that were mid-level to affordable completely sold out, no availability. So obviously leaf peeping is big business around here. So unless you're going to make multiple reservations for multiple weekends, which actually isn't a bad idea if you're flexible for airline or you're driving up here yourself, it's really hard to guesstimate when the peak season's going to be. Wrap it up. What's your advice for people who want to try something like this and they don't live up here?
I'd say to plan ahead in advance. I think we sort of hit the nail on the head, sort of didn't, in the fact that we just happened to arrive here and not realize that they had a warmer fall than normal, so the leaves are postponed just a bit. But we have seen some really pretty stuff. So it's a general area of time for that. And don't be afraid to get out and explore other places around there. I mean, we drove into Rhode Island and we drove up through New Hampshire and Vermont to get to upper New York State. You know, we are driving over to hit the corner of Maine, the lower corner of Maine. And if you have the time and the desire to come up to this area, just explore it all. Get yourself a car and just explore.
Yeah,
it doesn't take very long to get through each of these states up here. They're smaller. It's so just 3 hours and we're through Vermont and New Hampshire almost. So
which is an amazing concept for us Texans.
Yes.
You could drive for 12 hours and not be out of the state.
Some of the things here are so quaint. They're so traditional looking. They make your imagination see that this was probably what it was like 100, 200 years ago. It's just a beautiful area of the country to come visit.
I will say that the best leaves we saw were mid-state between basically right on the border between Vermont and New Hampshire, and that's where we saw the most tour buses, and that's where we saw the most mountains. So there must be something to that.
Yes.
It might have something to do with the mountains. It might be the lake that runs, the river that runs between the states. But there was definitely something there that caused those leaves to be more color popped than the rest of the state. So if you're looking for a target zone, I would just head up that green mountain range, which is ironic because it's more yellow and orange in this time of year than green. But around that area seem to be the best. There's probably stuff that's even better further up north, but if you're coming from the Boston area, you know, it's quite a commitment to keep going further north. But you can get to that area in 3 hours from Boston.
Yeah.
So
it's nothing.
See your old American history stuff in Boston, and still see the fall leaves. It's a really special trip that is not super expensive. I mean, I know I said I look for the mid-grade hotels, but there's plenty of hotel chains around here that aren't that expensive. There's a lot of lodges too. I think that's something that I did investigate. There's lodges on lakes that you could stay a week on a lodge if you're not the type of people that
or
like
just
to
a
move.
beautiful bed and breakfast or
Yeah.
something. We passed several bed and breakfasts that would probably be beautiful to stay at. And just make that your, a portion of your trip is to stay at one of those places where you could go here or there, just out from there.
Yep. So we are going to investigate Maine and shoot some footage in Salem before we hit the road. So we really hope that you all have the opportunity to experience this someday for yourself. And if you have experienced this before and you think we did it all wrong, or you want to give us some advice for next time, or want to leave some comments for somebody else thinking about try it, drop down a comment below and let us know what we missed or what we did wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Always glad to hear input from people who watch our videos. So we will be posting, not sure, we'll probably post this video a little sooner than the rest of our Boston videos. So if you are planning a trip to New England, hit subscribe and check out the rest of our Boston playlist. There'll be over a dozen videos from the stuff we've done for the last 6 days. And then we also have our New York videos, which is a similar part of the